is that I would have just taken out those piercings, and I would not have been seduced by Midianite women. That's what I'd like to believe.
And I'd like to believe that too about you.
I just found that a beautiful midrash.
Okay.
It moved me.
Let's see if I can anticipate the next thing you're going to bring up.
I
was right on the button on that one.
Yes, yes.
I was ready for you.
Yes, it's. I must admit certain weaknesses, certain subject matters.
Let's see if you go for the next one. I think you're going to go for.
Chapter 32, verse 11. From 20 years and up. In the Bible, 20 is the legal age for majority, hence for liability to punishment. Septuagint adds, who knows good and evil, a euphemism for sexual maturity.
What was 32 what? 11?
Yes.
Okay, I got to skip over there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So none of them, so I just found that interesting, that 20 is the age of legal majority in the Bible.
No, it isn't.
Well, Rabbi Jacob Milgram.
He is a conservative heretic, okay? He is not to, we follow Judaism.
Well, what's the significance of 20 here?
Hold on.
None of the men from 20 years up who came out of Egypt shall see the land.
Hold on.
So obviously 20 does have some significance.
Hold on. See if anybody talks about it. Well, I know that they, when they went to war, this is like answering Bala Budgish, but I mean, nobody has a problem with it on the page. When did we see 20? When they got together and they called out to war, the soldiers were all 20 to 60. When we count Jews in Bamidbar, everybody is males 20 to 60.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody's counted.
Yeah.
That's not to say that somebody over 60 is not a male or is not an adult anymore. Right. It's not to say that somebody under 20 is not an adult. It's just when you're talking about an army of people, your army is men from 20 to 60. After 60, mandatory retirement. Before 20, they say you're too young to go to war. It's not that you're an adult at 20. There's no such thing.
What did you expect me to ask? Because maybe I haven't been so mentally sharp this week.
Oh, so. I thought you were going to talk about, because we said there was, they killed the women who had sex, they killed the women who were capable of having sex, but the other ones they kept alive. And I was waiting for you to say, well, what do they do with the ones who were kept alive?
Yeah, what do they do with the ones they kept alive? The little girls.
I was waiting for this.
The little Lolitas, the Midianite Lolitas.
Yeah, and I was waiting for you to say, like Jacob Milgram says they were sex slaves or something, and I'm like ready to go, go ballistic.
What did they do with the little girls?
They just became...
did they thank heaven for little girls?
No, they just became servants. They were kept alive as servants.
Okay. So it's not like Israel today with a lot of sex slaves.
There's no sex slaves in the book. This is one of the stupidest anti-Semitic, ignorant criticisms is that they were all these women were taken as sex slaves.
All right, that's horrible.
Yeah, okay, so good. You're at least on the same page.
That's horrible. I mean, Jewish men can be horny little rabbis, but we don't kidnap people and force them into sexual slavery.
No, we even have a halacha, which we're going to learn in Devarim, in Deuteronomy. It's called the Yafas Toar, which is the captive woman, and it talks about when you go out to battle, like you go to Vietnam or whatever, right? And you come back and like all these GIs came back with all these wives, They came back with all these Vietnamese women, they these wives. And there's like a thing, like you're in battle, like I don't know. You get into battle, like your emotions take over all the time. You're in the heat of battle, and your emotions take over, and then you end up marrying some woman out there in the battlefield, basically.
Right.
So the Torah knows that you're going to do that. Like it says, okay, you're not supposed to be with non-Jewish women or whatever, but we know you're going to come back with them. It's a really strong urge to overcome. So let's deal with it. You bring them home, and they have to go through a conversion process. In the office tour, they have to go through a conversion process. What about the halacha that says if a woman converts and it's for the sake of a guy, it's not a true conversion, it's a bogus conversion, we don't accept it. You say, because they went out to battle and he brought her home, this is what we're going to do. You make her ugly, she's got to cut her hair, and she's got to put weird makeup on her eyes or something. I don't know, there's a whole thing. She's got to make it so you can't look at her, right? And then if you still are interested in her after that, then she's got to go through a conversion thing. And if she says, I don't want to convert, then that's it. she's never going to be with you. But if she decides she still wants to convert, by Kim, then she converts, and then you marry her. You have to marry her before you can be with her.
Can I look at your notes so I can find out what I should ask you next?
Yeah, let's talk about revenge.
Great, let's talk about revenge.
Okay, so 31:1 is like we dive into this, and there's revenge, and this is something I want to go off on.
Great, go.
You know me, I never go off on anybody, right? There's a fallacy, there's another misconception. I hear this a lot. And they say, oh, that's not the Jewish thing. Revenge.
That's not Jewish.
That's not Jewish. Why?
God says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Yeah, it's like holding a grudge and having revenge against somebody. That's not a Jewish thing, right? You know, and I just want to dive right into this if I can. Can
Please.
I? Okay. In the PC world, that is probably very taboo.
Yes.
The Judaism believes in revenge. Can I say this again?
Yes.
Let's say it together. Judaism believes in revenge. Thank you. Okay. And it's taboo in the PC world, but you know what it goes against? It goes against Christianity. That's what it goes against.
Turn the other cheek.
Turn the other cheek.
Slap
forgive
and
forget.
One cheek, and you turn the other so I can slap you on
You're
the
right.
other.
That's Christianity, and I have nothing against Christianity. It's a great religion. It's right down the hall. We're talking about Judaism here tonight. Yeah. Christianity is for non-Jews. That's down the hallway. Okay, if you want to, but Judaism absolutely believes in revenge. We do not turn the other cheek. And I'm going to talk about this. Can I?
Yes.
Okay. We see in 35:33 that the Torah tells us that the land will never have atonement for the blood that was spilled on it, except through the blood of the one that spilled it.
Yes.
Somebody gets murdered, okay? Let's say someone murders somebody else. That person who's the murderer can never get forgiveness in this world other than execution. It boggles the mind of some people in America because they have everything asked backwards. They think, oh, don't kill the guy. We don't believe in capital punishment. Stick him in a prison for 50 years. The only way this guy is ever going to get to heaven, right, and be forgiven is if he gets executed. You're taking away his chance to atone. Because the only way that a murderer can get atonement is by being executed. So we absolutely believe in the capital punishment because it's a kindness to the person who killed. Because they're never going to get forgiven. Yom Kippur's not going to help. I'll give you another example. Here's an example. A guy kills somebody else. He was a murderer.
Yeah. Kills
somebody else. In fact, it came up. Guy murders somebody else. Then, he gets away with it or whatever, and nobody knows it's him, right? And he does tshuva, and he dedicates his life to learning, and he becomes a Rosh Yeshiva. And he opens up a big yeshiva, and he leads the yeshiva, and he's a holy man, and he runs this yeshiva for 50 years. For 50 years, he's the Rosh Yeshiva with a big, long, white beard like Luke's, right? And, it's like, he's got the big furry hat, right? He's like ultra-Orthodox and all that, right? Is that okay? No. Because there's only one voice that matters. That's the voice of the victim. And the victim says, I don't give a fuck that this guy's a Rosh Yeshiva. He murdered me, and I will not forgive him. I don't forgive this guy.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter that victim's family is against capital punishment because their voice doesn't matter. The only voice the Torah cares about, the only voice that God cares about is the voice of the victim who's dead, and the voice of the victim never goes away. The voice of the victim is never going to get peace until that son of a bitch who killed him, who's now the Rosh Yeshiva for 50 years, is dead. You have to execute this guy. You have got to execute this guy, right? And if he's not executed, he's going to be punished in the next world. Because the victim is going to rejoice. And let me repeat this again. Rejoice.
Rejoice.
Rejoice and be simchadik watching the punishment performed on the person that killed them. And that's something that, Rabbi Victor Miller talks about this, that in the world to come, when we get to the other side, we get to watch Hitler being punished every day. And this is what the victims of the Holocaust get to look forward to. And they celebrate this every day. That they get to watch Hitler more and more punished every single day. It's a Jewish thing to celebrate the punishment of those that did a terrible thing to you. There's people that have been really bad to me in my life, and I don't forgive them. I don't forgive them. And that's a Jewish thing. I have read